What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be blind reacting to prisons in Australia. Now, this is episode 3 in my Prisons Around the World series. I will leave the other 2 linked in the description box of this video. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has served time in prison, and my entire crazy life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever going to be $2. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel where you can see me doing vlog stuff with my family. No prison content over there. Also, I have a podcast, the Jessica Kent Podcast. I am also a proud partner with Groups Recover Together. Groups offers both online and in-person treatment options. They are available in 13 states and more, and expanding. They strongly lean on harm reduction. They are 420 friendly, and they're an amazing team of people. It's literally everything I wish I had in active addiction. I will leave my landing page and hotline number with them in the description box as well. All right, let's kick this thing off. I'm so excited. A lot of you guys are from Australia. I've seen your comments so many times, so I'm really excited to blind react to this.
It's usually not easy to get inside a maximum security jail without breaking a few laws, so this story took a bit of work. We're about to give you an exclusive look at the super jail of the future, with no cell in sight. Prisoners are housed together in pods, with cameras watching their every move. We wanted to know how it could possibly work.
Murder, sex offences.
I'd like to spend as much time as I can here.
It's no worse than any soldier or sailor would have to deal with if they were serving in the military.
They're not serving our country. These men are serving jail time, each considered one of Australia's most dangerous criminals.
Can someone from Australia tell me if you use the word prison? Because she keeps saying maximum jail, like maximum security jail, super jail. So do you use the word prison, or is that like interchangeable in Australia? Is jail and prison the same thing? Because in America, jail and prison is 2 different things. Or you could go to jail in prison. Inmates call solitary confinement jail when they're in prison.
Fancy your name, grab your lunch, return your cubicle.
It's the lunchtime muster. The inmate waits on their assigned number before collecting their ration pack. They don't return to a cell, instead their own pod, in an open-plan dormitory, offering everything from a touchscreen interactive TV to some of life's little luxuries.
I'm gonna pause here. They have touchscreen cubicles in their pod. Dorms or pods in the US look very different from state to state and facility to facility. An open bay dorm can look like little pods like this, or it can look like just bunk beds in a big gym. Never in my life have I seen a touchscreen kiosk in every single person's pod. If a facility has a kiosk, it's for everyone to use. So we would use a kiosk like that, a touchscreen kiosk, to order commissary, but it was in a common area because we all rely on that for different things. Federal prison, it's for email. State prison, it's for, for commissary and certain things like that. Putting in a medical kite in certain county jails, I've had kiosks like that as well. So yeah. There's also a hack in county jails where if you know someone's login information on this kiosk, like to order commissary or whatever, you could pass notes back and forth. It's a video for another time.
Of prison life in maximum security.
So somebody's watching in here for it to open this door for us?
Yeah, so all remote controlled through our internal monitor room.
Just like the 400 inmates here, guards are tracking our every move, as a current affair is granted unprecedented access inside the...
That's the same. In maximum security prisons, every prison should essentially do this, but maximum security prison, guards are in the control room and in the towers watching literally your every single move. So you know how Orange is the New Black? I know it's a low-level camp, federal prison in her story, whatever. The point is, she's seen walking throughout this compound wherever she wants to. No, maximum security has controlled movement. You can't walk through a hallway without getting buzzed in. You can't walk into a dorm, out of a dorm, in a cell, out of a cell. You have to be buzzed in. Every single thing you do is controlled.
The Hunter Correctional Centre in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. It's security gate after security gate just to get inside to where the crooks call home.
And so are they free to just walk through these corridors or
No, it's all under camera and it's all supervised movements.
Prison Governor Richard Haycock and Senior Correctional Officer Melanie Campton lead us into Alpha 2.
25 cubicles in here, so 25 inmates housed in here. Each one has their own cubicle assigned to them. They have a communal area.
Are they free to just walk around in
Yes,
here?
absolutely.
At all times?
So when they're in here, they have access to the rear yard as well.
This all seems far too fancy to get when you're in jail.
It does seem fancy, but it's actually more cost effective using these because they also have a kiosk.
From radio, TV, prison shopping and banking, to checking their next court date, the kiosk is a prisoner's gateway to the outside world.
And they're going to shortly introduce a Bluetooth keypad and they can actually do education from here as well.
Education, checking your court date, TV, radio, that is incredible. And the thing that the reporter just said, like, this seems too nice for them when they're in jail, does it? It is more cost effective, like he said, but like, we shouldn't be treating inmates like they are less than. I know it's supposed to be punishment, but your punishment is being away from your family and put there in the first place. So it kind of grinds my gears when I hear people saying like, it shouldn't be nice. Well, no one's ever in the history of ever going to go through the intake process, be put in a facility and think that it's nice. It's really mentally very difficult. It can be physically difficult, it can be dangerous. So why not provide little luxuries that save the jail money and also help the inmates with their mental health, with their daily tasks? Because not knowing when your next court date is, not having access to any information about the free world at all, these things really kind of take a toll on you. Just to be able to listen to the radio and listen to music is just life-changing for your mental health.
So it's a multi-purpose station, and what it does is, while it looks fancy, it is, it's a luxury for an inmate, but it also frees up the frontline staff to get on with other responsibilities in the jail.
How do you go with theft in such an open space?
Generally, with inmates, theft is kept to a minimum. They basically look after each other when they're in the pods, and they don't enter the pods or their cubicles.
How do you deal with theft, she asked. I think that's a really common thing. Inmates have inmate rules, and we don't steal from each other. And if you're caught stealing from somebody, oh my God, you better be transferred to a new dorm. But even if you are prison compound gossip, they're gonna know that you're a thief. But in my experience, we also had locks on our trunks and locks on our lockers. So while that helped, I would never dare steal from another inmate. I know better. And most inmates don't have a death wish. Has it happened before? Of course it's happened before. But ooh, baby, I don't want to be caught stealing from it.
It's their space and it's an unwritten rule.
And what about noise? I mean, surely some inmates must get annoyed that someone's making a noise because they can...
No, generally, if you can consider being in a traditional jail where you might be 3 inmates in a cell, which is probably no bigger than this 2 cubicles here square, quite confined.
But a camera can see every corner of each pod?
Yes. So there's cameras in here, so there's 9 cameras in this unit. I won't point them out to you, but they're 360-degree digital camera views, so we can rotate the cameras in town.
A lot of cameras watching their every single move. What's crazy is when you live there, like if you're an inmate, you forget they're watching your every move, which is so weird that you can get accustomed to that and you can get used to that. But that's just part of like how adaptable our brains are. We just completely forget sometimes that we're being watched all the time, which sounds weird because you're like a goldfish in a fish tank. Also, totally random, has nothing to do with this video. I love Australian accents. Like I just could listen to them talk all freaking day. Anyone else? Ugh, obsessed. I'm obsessed with Australian accents. It's just so beautiful.
Really?
It may seem like prisoners here have more freedom and privileges, but they're actually under some of...
Oh, look at their... Okay, so this is something that happens too. So the inmates all have an assigned cubicle number. Every bed in prison has a number, but they have their ID card on the bed as well. So, or on the, the thing outside of their pod as well.
But they're actually under some of the most intense surveillance of any prison in the country. From hundreds of security cameras to officers armed with gas-shooting guns. Inmates here are warned, if they cause trouble, there's nowhere to hide.
And if something goes wrong, how far away is help?
IAT would be here in about 1 minute and 30 seconds from anywhere in the jail.
Meet the immediate action team. The constant eyes hovering above the criminals as they eat, sleep and interact. They watch through slits and interact. They watch through slit-sized windows, armed with loaded gas cylinders, grenades, batons and foggers. They're ready to pounce.
Pausing at the word pounce here, say that 3 times fast. The pepper spray and the mace, well, I've never been shot in an area where the mace gun, I have been pepper sprayed. Bang, bang. I'd rather be knocked unconscious. I'd rather someone hit me in the head and I am knocked unconscious than hit with pepper spray. I'd rather get hit with a car than hit with pepper spray. It hurts so bad and it lingers. It lingers and it stings and it burns and there's no escaping it for a while. Tons of mucus, tons of snot because your brain is like, because all of your senses are like, oh my God, help us. It is horrible.
And how does that response time compare to other jails?
In terms of the IAT response, it's much quicker.
Yeah, we've got a yard.
A jail sentence here is no walk in the park.
10 o'clock at night. We wake up at about 6-ish, off to work until about 11:30. I work at the engineering shop. We're back for lunch for about an hour, and then we go to education, where I'm doing the music class. And then we do, that's about 2 hours. We do about 2 hours of like exercise up at the Oval, and then we're just back in the pod till, night time.
25-year-old Charlie has been here for about 6 months. He can't tell us about his crime, but he'll be paying for it for at least another 11 years.
To be honest, I didn't want to come here when I first heard about it, but now I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. And we're not locked in cells here. We can kind of walk around and do what we want.
He's served time at 4 other prisons and says this one is the best of the lot.
What are some of the other horror stories that you've experienced in other jails?
Oh, seen a bit of everything, there's stabbings, bashings, the whole lot, as you can imagine. So it's not a nice place to be at times. So.
And have you seen anything like that here?
No, not really, to be honest.
What's interesting is they have a little bit more of like luxuries, like the TV kiosk in their cell, and it seems like the commissary is really good. I saw somebody with eggs. When we give inmates a little bit more, violence reduces. And that's seen across the board in studies. So when they have privileges that they don't want to lose, that cuts violence in half. When someone has nothing and nothing to look forward to, no privileges, they're controlled, they're just... they're put in isolation, which is literally torture. It causes intense trauma, and that increases violence.
Do you ever feel threatened, or do you ever feel like, I'm so close and exposed to other criminals?
No, surprisingly not. Yeah, I actually feel really safe. I lose no sleep.
Do you think it's for everyone?
Not everyone's going to like this style of living. Some people are kind of set in their ways, and it's not going to work for every inmate. But for those people that it does, it's a really good system, I think. So I much prefer it.
The general conception was this wouldn't work with maximum security inmates because they had the freedom to interact with each other, assault each other. But what we're finding is because of the non-traditional setting, there's a lot less stress on the inmate in a normal cell environment.
There's a lot less stress on the inmates, and that means that there's a lot less stress on the staff as well.
A strategy to help pass the time. From the sparks of a metal workshop.
Look at these skills. Look at these things that inmates are learning and doing.
So when they're looking for work or getting released, we want to try and get them work on the outside.
To the precision behind crafting the perfect club sandwich.
The presentation is everything, so make sure you push those olives down and arrange your crisps on your plate nice and neatly.
I
know it's just a freaking cooking class, okay? But and it's just a workshop and a seam shop. That is how we help curb recidivism. And it's just so amazing. I know it's just a club sandwich, but it just makes me so emotional because they're literally every day working and learning, and they can put that on their resume. I learned how to do engineering in prison. My friend Jason, who you've seen on here, he knows how to do electrical work because he learned it in prison. That man could seam Actually, Jason could sew an entire wedding dress for me, probably. He's really good at seam work.
Music. Art. Even
Guitars.
NRL
Okay,
refereeing
that's it.
courses.
Australia
Do
is
they
killing it.
hope to use that on the outside, the NRL?
Yeah, it's an accredited course that when they're on the outside, a lot of them are saying they want to put back into the community.
Group psychology sessions target domestic abuse, aggression and addiction.
So inmates have been here
The
since
artists
February.
in prison are so talented.
A lot of the guys now have been
Look
through
at
several
this.
programs with us, and initially they
I mean,
were
just the detailing
a bit
in it.
up in the air and resistant
talent
because
is
it was a group
crazy.
setting and living.
Do they hope to use that on the outside, the NRL?
Yeah, it's an accredited course that when they're on the outside, a lot of them are saying they want to put back into the community.
Group psychology sessions target domestic abuse, aggression and addiction.
So inmates have been here since February. Are you starting to see some results?
A lot of the guys now have been through several programs with us, and initially they were a bit up in the air and resistant because it was a group setting and living in a dorm style, but yeah, now we're seeing some good results.
New South Wales Minister for Corrections, David Elliott, admits he was nervous about the new model, but is confident it's working.
I'm very comfortable that the rehabilitation being on offer in these prisons is as good as it's going to get anywhere in the country, if not the world.
Fascinating. That new jail is part of a $3.8 billion program to reform the New South Wales prison system.
Okay, in closing, these are my final closing thoughts. I think this is amazing. The fact that they did this in a maximum security prison where a lot of people on the outside without understanding inmates would say like, these are violent offenders, these are dangerous offenders, give them less, restrict them, don't do this, don't give them reentry programs because they're so dangerous they can't handle it. What? That makes no sense. None. And most people that go to prison have a release date, at least in this country anyway. We have to be giving them the tools that they need to be successful in the street so that they don't go out and commit crimes or hurt other people, so that they're productive members of society. And that's what it is all about. Australia, based on this video, killing it. That prison is doing such a good job. Musical instruments and programs and re-entry classes and certifications and courses. That is how we curb recidivism. That's how we get people to stop breaking the law through access to programs like this. And in my personal and very biased opinion, re-entry starts from day one. In America, re-entry classes look like 60 to 90 days to the door, where they're like, you have to pay your bills, okay? You write a check and you pay your electric bill. Okay, I need a job. Teach me a skill, please. You know, work release in America is really tough. A very few number of people get work release programs where you get job training and job placement afterwards. You know, a lot of women don't have access to those programs. The last prison I was in, 50 women got work release out of the entire state, 50 of them. It's not enough, not enough. But in closing, I really like what I see in that video. Australia is killing it. Also, I really need to get on and check if there's a new Wentworth season out. I think there is. I'm behind. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. I love you, Australia, and I will see you in my next one.